Imagine waiting 100 years for the child God promised you, the child you prayed for, the child you loved more than anything. Now, imagine that same God asking you to give that child back. This is the story of Abraham and the greatest test of faith in the Bible. Abraham had waited nearly his entire life for a child. God had promised him something impossible, that through his son, his descendants would become as countless as the stars in the sky. And finally, in his old age, the miracle happened. His son Isaac was born. Isaac was not just a son, he was the fulfillment of God's promise. Years passed, and Isaac grew into a young boy. Abraham loved him deeply. Every laugh, every step, every moment reminded Abraham that God had kept his promise. One night, God tested Abraham. He said, "Abraham, take your son, your only son Isaac, whom you love, and go to the land of Moriah. There, offer him as a sacrifice." Early the next morning, Abraham prepared for the journey. He took Isaac, 2 servants, and the wood for the offering. For 3 days, they traveled toward the mountain God had shown him. And with every step, Abraham carried a heavy burden in his heart. Abraham and Isaac would go the rest of the way alone. Isaac carried the wood for the offering. Then he asked a question. "Father, we have the fire and the wood, but where is the lamb for the sacrifice?" Abraham answered quietly, "God will provide the lamb." When they reached the top, Abraham built an altar. He placed the wood upon it. Then, with a heavy heart, he bound his son Isaac and laid him on the altar. Abraham lifted the knife, ready to obey God. Suddenly, a voice from heaven called out, "Abraham, Abraham, do not lay a hand on the boy. Now I know that you fear God." Abraham looked up, and there in the bushes was a ram caught close by. God had provided the sacrifice. Abraham had passed the test. He trusted God, even when it was impossible to understand. And that day, on that mountain, Abraham learned something that the world would remember forever. God always provides. Like and subscribe for more stories from the Bible.